can do it.
Okay, I think we'll go ahead and get started. I know we may be missing a couple people because we're supposed to be having about 20 people in each session. So if they come in, we'll catch them up real quick. So I just want to introduce myself. My name is McLaughlin. I'm technology trainer for CCS. Just a show of hands, how many people have actually used a smart board or an interactive projector combination before? Okay, so about half of you. Wonderful. So you guys will be our superstars today. So if I ask you a question, you better be prepared. So come on in, grab a seat. Today we're going to learn the basics of the smart interactive LightRaise projector. Now, please don't hurt yourself. Over here, when I draw your attention up here, if this is new to you, and if it's not, it should be kind of new to everybody, but this interactive projector is all encompass all the interaction in the infrared light rays curtain. So when you're used to a smart board, the physical board had the technology built into it. In this situation, the technology is built into the projector. Now, the smart notebook. Is everyone familiar with the smart notebook or know what I mean when I say that? Okay, we're going to dive into that. This is what you see right now is a smart notebook. But today I'm going to minimize and start at the beginning on the desktop so we're all on the same page. Hello, come on in.
Thank you.
So when you get started, there's 3 components to every smart board system. 1, you have a designated computer with the notebook software on it. 2, you have a platform, whether it's a board or a physical smart board, where the projected image is going to be projected. And 3, then you have a projector of some kind. Like I said, all the interactivity is encompassed in that projector. Now there's 2 important cables to be aware of. 1, you have a VGA, which is simply the projector cable. That's a thicker black or blue cable that needs to be connected at all times so that you actually see the image projected up here on the board. Second, USB cable. That's where all your interactivity lies. So if you have not been able to interact with your board, then that USB cable may not be connected or properly inserted into the port and the back of the computer. Now, I know that was all technical information, but I like to give you that information just so you can kind of be self-sufficient. Now, starting today, when you turn it on, there's a couple things that you want to be aware of. This little case over here, everyone will be getting it at some point. I know they have not been distributed, but each classroom will comprise of this magnetic white case. And this is where you're going to hold your 2 pens. This board, you can have up to 4 people write at the same time, but preferably 2 people so that you have all the gestures and writing capabilities all in one. 2 hours of charge is good for 2 continuous days of use. So rule of thumb, if you're using 1 pen, have the other one charging. You can't overcharge them, so you're not going to hurt it. When it's charging and it's still kind of on the dead end, it's going to be blinking amber or red. If you notice when you're using it, it goes to that amber or red, then that means you need to get it on the charger. Solid green is the actual color you want to look for. This little remote, don't lose it, okay? This fits in your palm. This is what turns on the actual projector. A lot of people think that turning on the projector means you have to stand under it. No, the sensor is actually out here. So don't get frustrated if it's not responding to you. Just realize where you're standing in conjunction to the projector. Make sure it's out here. There is also a physical power button on the projector. So if you do lose this, you're not out of business. You have a way to still turn on the projector and have functionality. Any questions up front about the projector, turning it on, or just the basic setup? Okay, so everyone's comfortable with that? Okay, awesome. Now, when we start everything, this is what we're working in, the smart notebook software right here. The blue icon, the white notebook, and the blue pen on top. I have mine down below minimized. As you noticed, I was able to do that with my finger. My finger is simply my mouse at this point. Everything that I do today, I'm doing at the board. So everything that you can do at the board, remember, you can do at your computer, but you just do it with your mouse. When you open the software for the first time, you're actually going to get a notebook tutorial. Please reference this at any time. You can always refer back to it in the help option right here in the notebook, and the third option down, Smart Notebook Tutorial. So go to that and reference when you have questions. I see some people taking notes, and that's great. I'll be emailing Chuck an overview of what we talked about today, so you don't have to frantically write everything down I say. But know that this is another tutorial guide that you can reference. When you open the notebook for the second time, you're going to have the blank notebook, and you'll have one page. It looks very similar to PowerPoint, right? Just a thumbnail view of all the pages that you can have in your presentation. Same thing here. So it's an easy transition from some of the terminology also, because as you look in the top corner, you see File, Edit, View, Insert. Terminology that we're used to in Microsoft Word documents. So it's an easy transition into this software in that aspect. Adding a new page simply is done by tapping on the Add the New Page option, which is located on your presentation panel, as well as in the top left corner of your control panel, your toolbar. You also have a delete option and a delete option here. Now, if your classroom has a projected and board system mounted a little too high and you can't reach the top, or it's just really not comfortable to reach it, you're vertically challenged, it's okay. We have a double arrow system that will then bring the tools down to the bottom for you. So that's really nice and convenient for you or the students, and then you can bring it back up at any time. Also, this presentation panel has two arrows here that will then push this panel onto this side. So if it's more conducive in your classroom to stand on this side of the board, then you have that flexibility of going back and forth. Or if you and a student are teaching together, two students, you have that ease of transition from back to forth. Okay, we're going to talk about writing on the board at this point, and then I'm actually going to have some of you in the audience come up and practice as well. So I want to make sure that you are comfortable using the technology, and there is a difference between using your finger and the pen. It feels totally different. So I want you to get comfortable and have practice using both. When you write on the board, there's two different ways that you can launch or activate a pen. You can select with your finger or the pen option here, and then to the right it expands those pen options for you. Now, wherever you see a drop-down menu, that means you have more to explore. So take the time to look at it, get familiar with it, and see that you do have other options to customize and make it your own when you're in your software. So once you select your color, you also have your line thickness and your pen style. So if you need something that has a dotted line or arrows at the end, you have that flexibility and that option to make that happen. You also have transparency. So if you need that pen to be transparent, that's an option for you as well. Now, I see people with computers. Do you guys have this software on your computer now or no? Yes. You do. Okay, so feel free to open it. Why don't you do that now? Open that notebook software on your computer and follow along. Practice some of the things I'm doing. Is yours a touch computer?
Yes.
Wow, awesome. I need one at home. So when I go home, my husband's always washing my fingerprints off the screen because I touch everything all day long, so I forget I have to use my mouse. But that's awesome. Follow along. So activate a pen. Once you open up the notebook software, remember this is what the icon looks like. The blue box and the white notebook with the blue pen. And activate a pen. And write your name on the page, because I want you to try and do something with it afterwards. And then go back to being a mouse, which is that cursor, that home base button. Has everyone been able to find it? Okay, good. So the home base is that cursor right above the pen option in your toolbar. So once you write your name, when you select what you wrote, when you're in a mouse mode, right, you get a dotted blue frame surrounding that object. The top green handle allows rotation. And then the bottom right, this white handle allows to be resized. So you can resize that object, rotate with the green, and then in the top right corner you have a drop-down menu. Another whole list of options here that allow you to add and customize this selected object. Yes, question?
I can draw with a pen, but I can't with my finger.
And it's a touch.
Yeah, mine's doing the same thing. All I get is a box.
Yeah, I get a box finger, so what am I not touching? See, look.
Pen types, I get
I don't know.
I just-
I made it work. It likes me. Make sure you select with your finger.
I didn't select, I selected from here, that's not.
Oh, okay. So when you select the pen option,
You are magic.
make sure you then select the color. Good, there you go. So choose your color, write your name, become a mouse again, and then select your name. When you select your name, you want to make sure you're a mouse, which is the option right above the pen option. So when you select that, your finger now becomes a mouse. Now you can tap on your name to select it, and you should see a dotted blue frame appear. Now, in the drop-down menu of that selected object, the first option says recognize, and then in quotes, whatever you wrote. So when I select that, it will take my handwriting and change it now to type nice, neat, formatted text. Did everyone get that? Nice. Okay. What did
No.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure we're all on the same page. Okay. So, isn't that cool? It's a great on-the-go way. Honestly, a lot of the kids have chicken scratch. Sometimes I do. It does a great job at recognizing your handwriting and making it legible in a way that then everyone can understand what's going on. Yes?
Okay, one more time for those of us
Okay.
that are video. After you make the box, what do you do?
Okay, so I'm going to introduce you to what's going to be your best friend, this undo button right here. This undo button, just keep hitting it until you get back to where you want to go. So I have written my name, okay? I have now selected the cursor to be a home button so I can be a mouse. Now I tap on that object, so my name, to get my dotted blue friend to appear. That top menu has a drop-down menu. That first option kind of gives you a couple spell check options, like did you mean this word or did you mean to say this? Select what you want, and now see it change from your handwriting into formatted text. Cool? Yeah, awesome. Okay, now you have this object on your computer, okay? Keep that on there. Now activate a pen again. So activate a pen, and either write your name again or write another name. You can write your last name, whatever you want to do. I'm just going to write my name again in the digital ink, and then become a mouse again once you're done. Okay? Once you're a mouse again, the next tool I want to talk about is the eraser. So the eraser is in the bottom right corner of your toolbar up top. Is everyone on the eraser now? Okay, I want to show you that when you activate the eraser will only erase your digital ink, but not your formatted text, okay? So I like to show that difference because this cannot be erased. It has to be deleted. So now when you become a mouse again, you must select that formatted text and either hit the red X in the corner or drop down menu cut or delete. You'll learn with Smart, there's about 5 different ways to do the same thing. Find the way that works best for you and stick to that. But just realize that if you format something, whether it's typed text, pictures, graphs, charts, that object in particular has to be deleted. It cannot be erased. Now, I'm going to use our best friend again, undo, to bring back the digital Amanda. And now, I don't want to think if I need to erase or delete something. I just want to clear the whole page. I don't want to worry about it. going to your page sorter, that first tab, it will then identify what page you are actually on by having a blue border around that page. In that drop-down menu of that selected page, you have an option to completely just clear the page. So once I hit clear page, everything goes away. So, you know, if you don't want to worry about, okay, do I need to delete, do I need to erase, just clear the whole page. Yes?
How do I get that sidebar on mine? I don't have that.
Let me see what your view looks like. No, you're good. Oh, it's right here.
Oh, it's on
you're-
the left,
Mhm.
okay.
Yes, so because you have that flexibility of going from the right to the left, you have the option of it showing up over here.
So what do I hit again to get rid of all this?
So that drop-down menu in that,
Okay, in
and then
there.
clear page.
Okay.
Awesome, good job. Anyone else have difficulty? Yes.
I'm not getting it.
Oh, the page is right there. It's already open. No, it's okay. Okay, so what you all are seeing, because it's down here, I'm gonna flip so then you can see what I'm talking about. Everyone on your computer right now has the auto hide unselected. So once you select it, you will now have a collapsible panel. But until you do that, it's unchecked, and now I'm in my workspace and this stays open. So when I was opening mine, yours was already open, ready to view. So if you like to hide it, or if you like to reference it all the time, totally preference up to you. Good distinction. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. So, and also, if you have the toolbar down below, your auto hide will be up top. If I have the toolbar up top, the auto hide will be down below. Okay, so I'm going to use undo again because I want to then show you also in that drop down menu of the selected page, if I don't want to clear everything, but say, I have a whole page of the students' annotations, I have a chart, the kids have come up and written their answers. I don't want to get rid of the chart, my formatted text. I just want their answers to go away. So you can choose the clear ink only from the page so that it would leave the pictures or the graph, but it would just take away their written answers. So now I can just clear the ink from the page and just that digital ink would go away. So those are really helpful tips just on deciphering whether you're going to delete something or erase, and how you can quickly get something off the page. Any questions up to this point? Okay, good. Now I'm going to just check my auto hide so this collapses on me so I have maximum space on the board. And when I activate a pen, like I said before, you have those different drop-down menus. So definitely explore those and the line thicknesses and the actual start points. And so at this point, just take a minute or two to explore those pen options because there's a lot in there that you want to look at. And as you do that, I'm going to show you what other pen options you have that are available to you to enhance your lessons. So we worked on the actual pen. Now we have a calligraphy pen. So you can write nice and fancy if you wanted. You have all the different thicknesses and pen colors. I see some people smiling, good. You have crayons. So if you need to color or shade something in, please use the digital crayons we provide. Don't use real crayons up here at the board. We provide these for a reason. So you have all those colors that you need and more. So really look to see, because you have so much that comes with the software, and it's amazing. You have highlighters already predetermined to certain colors and line thicknesses. Once again, you have more. Under that pen option again, okay, this one you're going to want to pay attention to and then practice. Text pen. Text pen can do 5 different things, okay? 1, when I write simply in the text pen, wait a few seconds, it will automatically change my handwriting to the formatted text for me. That will work with a sentence, a paragraph, a word. So that's amazing. I didn't have to go through the steps that we did initially. So that's very easy, seamless transition into what you want to accomplish, especially if that's your end result. Second, I'm on text pen still. If I draw a vertical line in between something, it gives me a space. If I draw a horizontal line through something, it'll delete that object. If I do a little caret insert, it allows me to insert something, and then I select what I want. And then lastly, if I fully circle something, it allows me to then replace what I surrounded. So those 5 things, the text pen will automatically change your handwriting into formatted text. Second, a vertical line will give you a space to practice these. A horizontal line will delete something. And then a caret will allow you to insert something in between where you place that caret. And then lastly, if you fully circle something, it'll allow you to replace what you circled. So that's a really, really cool pen. And that's actually the latest feature that they've added to the Notebook 15. So that's really nice. Good. Okay, I'm going to keep moving on. You keep practicing. Creative Pen. Creative Pen has all these funky, fancy, enhanced pens that will always spruce up any lesson very easily. The stars, they can also be used as bullet points, type after them. You have your smiley faces that can also be used as bullet points. You have daisies. And then the only snow Florida's going to see, your Winter Wonderland. So you have all these different already made pens that are here ready for you to use. But wait, there's more. You have the capability now to create your own custom stamp pen. So what that means is, when I'm on a pen in the Creative Pen option, you go to your Properties tab, and I can use a custom stamp image. So you find a picture on your computer, or I can select an object in my workspace. So I'm going to give you the example of selecting an object, and I'm just going to use my A. Let's try that again. There we go. And I see my thumbnail view of the A. Choose your pen thickness. Now, if I want to permanently make this a new pen, you need to make sure at the bottom you save your tool properties. If not, that's okay. You can now just test it out and show off your new A pen. So whether it's a school logo, if you teach a certain subject and you want to enhance, equations or anything like that, animals, you have the freedom now to create your own custom stamp. Now, there's 8 predetermined custom stamp images right here in the default, but you can replace all 8 of those if you would like. So if you want to create a new one, then select the default pen that you want to remove and replace. Now, if you replace all 8 of them at the end of the year, you're not even remembering what the defaults were, that's okay. Just select the Creative Pen and go to your Properties tab and select Use Default Pattern, and then hit Save, and all your defaults will return. So you never essentially lose your defaults. You can always get them back. Any questions on the Creative Pen? Yes?
So you just, if you go online and you find an image that you like, you just save that into your pictures and then
Yes.
you get it from there?
Yes, and then when you go to your custom image option, you have the Browse option.
Okay.
So when I go to Browse, then it automatically prompts me to then go find that image. And then your pictures are right there. Good questions. Okay, next pen. Next pen is your paintbrush. So it gives the illusion that you have that airy paintbrush feel. Very nice on the actual image. So whichever, however you're gonna use it, that may be something if you teach art or just in a, you're customizing something, you wanna add on to it, kind of transparent because you can kind of still see through it. So that's a pen that you may not have to modify to meet your needs. Okay, the Magic Pen. Magic Pen has 3 stars because you can do 3 different things. Now, let me know, can you access the Magic Pen? Because I know in the old version, you had to be connected to the board to use it.
We got it.
Okay, awesome. So the Magic Pen, 3 stars. First, if you draw a circle in the Magic Pen, you'll get a spotlight. So it gives it, your attention for the students. I want your focus right here. In the darkened area, you can grab that spotlight and move it. And then say I need that spotlight to be a little larger. Your finger is your mouse, remember? Or at your computer, you have the keyboard mouse. Move your finger up and down in the center of that spotlight to resize it accordingly. And then when you're done, the X in the top corner will then bring you back to where you started. Secondly, if you draw a square or a rectangle while you're in the magic pen, and you actually complete a good rectangle, then it will give you a zoom, a magnifying capability. And this works throughout the whole page. So when I was in the classroom and I called on little Timmy in the back, he's like, I'm sorry, I can't see it, I forgot my glasses. I'm like, okay, that's okay, I didn't forget how to use my magic pen. So I would just zoom, okay, you can't read this? Let's get this larger, how about now? So there was no excuse on whether someone was going to participate or not that day. So the magnifying glass is really nice because if you copy and paste something from online, and you know how you stretch it sometimes and all the pixelation, don't stretch it anymore. Copy and paste it, leave it small, and then zoom it from here, and it does the magnifying and keeps everything in proportion.
So if you had a picture up there of something you wanted to bring your kids in close to look at, to analyze, you would just use the magic pen?
Yes.
Nice.
So the magic pen with that square capability, giving you that zoom, will resolve that. Yes. And then lastly, I'm still on the magic pen, and say I have some notes that I need to write, but I don't need it up here for long. Then in a few seconds, those notes that I just wrote will then start to disappear. So it has disappearing ink capabilities. When I was in the classroom too, I would write their homework, and if they're not paying attention, staying with me, they're seeing math, page 5, 1 to 25, disappear before their eyes. It's a gratifying silence in the room when they realize something important is disappearing. So it grabs their attention when you need it. So even review for a test. You know who's paying attention and who's not. You're writing the right answers up here, or the right long division method. You call on certain people, they're coming up here, they're confused. It's like, I just gave you the right answers, Were you not paying attention? Okay, let's start paying attention. Let's ask the right questions. So it just now gives you that space back. So it's that quick kind of 2 to 12 seconds is your time limit. So once again, you're on the magic pen. And then when you go to your properties tab, it's under fill effects, where you're going to be able to determine 2 to 12 seconds for the fade out time. Yes?
Another quick thing. Mine is putting these black lines when I write.
That's your what?
In magic pen. When I do this, let's see. Oh, now it's not gonna do it. It'll just like add these black lines.
Okay, so just, I guess, reactivate magic pen. Just make sure, your finger's on magic pen,
Okay.
but,
It's working now. I know, sometimes you just need
Yeah,
that.
you just drew a black line. That's really weird. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
I'll figure it out at some point.
Any questions on any of the pens we've discussed so far? Okay, and everyone's been able to try them at their seat? Good, good. Now at this point, there's one more pen, the shape recognition pen. So if you're not the best at drawing your shapes, that's okay. It'll perfect them for you. For me personally, I'll just go to my pre-made shapes, which is to the right of my mouse, that home base cursor, and then here's my perfect circle. Here's my perfect square. One step further though, if I don't want to draw blank shapes, I want it to be the filled color and the line style that I want before I draw it, because I don't want to go back, be a mouse, go to properties, select it, fill it, come back, and then do everything else. I can now, in the software, say I want to be a circle, go to my colors. Now it gives me the drop-down option to change my fill color. So say I want the fill to be pink, the outline to be black. Now when I draw it, here is that circle that I predetermined in those colors. So it's really nice that you can, before the fact, determine what it's going to look like. Like I said, all drop-down menus expand to other options. So you have speech bubbles here, so you can type and write in those. You have arrows that are great for pull tabs. You also have checks and X's, so for different board games that you want to manipulate with those, you can have all of those features right here in that drop-down menu under the shapes property option. Good, good. Okay, now, the other option I want you to practice is the line segment. This is really helpful because when I select a line segment and draw that line, notice how it snaps in the center, right there. I don't have to stand back, okay, is that straight, get a ruler? No, it's really nice, it snaps. And so, right there, straight. But the thing that people have to get used to, just a little train of thought, just memory, if I put that vertical and horizontal line like that, but I want that horizontal line to go more in the middle, and I touch this right now, what's going to happen? There we go. I have not gone back to be a home base or a mouse yet, so I'm going to be moving. Oh, what's going on? You know, like I want to move this. You're going to be drawing lines all day long. So just realize that once you draw something and then you want to move it or manipulate it, you have to go back to be a mouse, and now you can move and put it where you want it to go. So just get into that habit. Realize that that is something that has to be done. But these are easy to get rid of, undo, or you can move these all into one section right here, you know, in a little pile, and then do something called a marquee select. You just start outside and surround everything, and then you can hit your red X, and then all those will go away at once. So little things like that will help you in the creation process. But actually at the end, I will show you a database where you can download for free already made lesson plans in every subject, file type, standard, and subject. So it's really nice that you have that database that I'll show you that you can then edit and just kind of tweak some other people's ideas. So that's really helpful. Any questions up to this point? Okay, yes?
When you hit your properties tab, how do you get rid of that tab once you're done with it?
So do you have your auto hide selected?
No.
Okay, so if you do not have it selected, it will always stay here until you
Okay.
go to page sorter, gallery, or something else. If you want it to give the maximum space, then select that auto hide, and now it'll collapse for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, at this point, who did not raise their hand earlier in saying that they were familiar with interactive products? So who's never used a smartboard or an interactive projector before? Who's new? Okay, so I need two of you. So you and you, ma'am.
Okay.
Come on up. Don't worry, this is a safe zone to make mistakes, or no one's gonna laugh, or at least I'm not going to.
We will.
So, working together, let's activate a pen, and I'm gonna have one of you use this pen. You'll switch, don't worry. So, on the back, which I'm gonna show everyone too behind you, when you open the flap of this pen, there's actually a USB connection that you need to charge this pen with, and that's important to realize. And then there's a tiny little switch. It goes to a 0 and then a 1. In order for this pen to work, you need to switch it to the 1. And then the light on the pen will turn green, or at least indicate some type of light as to where the charge is on this pen. Okay? And that now allows you to talk with the projector and that pen. So now, you select a pen with your finger. Choose a color, whatever you'd like.
I'm trying to get it into visual range.
Okay. Good. Okay, write your name or do something like that, whatever you'd like. That's so weird. The field's different. Okay, now
It
you
does.
come up and select with the pen a certain
Okay.
color. So choose your color. Good, and then write your name. whatever you'd like.
I don't like the squeaky.
That's why I wanted people to have both differences. Everyone has a preference. Now both of you write at the same time. You with your finger and you with your pen. You have the same capability of writing, but notice her finger stayed orange, her pen stayed purple. The projector recognizes the difference. So that's a cool, very, intuitive thing that the projector determines. So see, even though she's over here and she's this person, it's the pen. So that's really nice. Yes. So when you have that dual collaboration, you and a student, two students up here collaborating, brainstorming, answering questions, you can now track and say, okay, little Johnny, he was in the orange, little Susie, cute, she was in the purple. I know that because, that's what they determined. If you're both in a pen, it'll be the same color. If you're both in your finger, it'll be the same color. So if you want the two different colors, one person's in a pen, one person's using their finger. Okay? Pretty cool?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Awesome, thank you. Anybody else want to come up and try just to have the practice while we do right now with the pen or your finger? Or are you good? Good? Okay. Giving you the opportunity. Okay, so when you become a mouse again, remember, then you have that capability to move forward or backward within your presentation on your presentation panel. I'm going to keep going through the tools up here. And the next one I want to talk about is that monitor. So when you launch that monitor drop-down menu, the first option is full screen. Full screen, notice it takes away the toolbar and the side tabs and the bottom panel. So it gives that full screen appearance, right? Similar to what? What program in a Microsoft? PowerPoint, yes. So when you're used to PowerPoint presentation, you're in that full screen mode. Good. You're not totally out of control. You have this toolbar that allows you to be flexible from side to side. I'm using my finger in that top panel to move it. Now, you have the arrows to go forward and backward within your presentation. I wish it was a pencil or something, but this dotted line represents where all your tools are now located that you're used to seeing. So the tools that you're used to seeing up here, they're now compiled in a list right here. So you still have them. I just like to show you that because a lot of people overlook that and don't try and touch things. And that's another thing. You're not going to break anything. Please touch, play all day long. That's how you're going to learn. That's how you're going to discover things. And then over here to the far right, the monitor or the X in the top corner will then allow you to go back to this starting phase that you're used to seeing. Also, within that drop-down menu of the monitor, you have a dual page display option. This is wonderful because you can now show 2 pages of content at the same time. So that's a million miles amazing because you can have 2 students, in their separate space. You're over here, stay in your space, collaborating, compare and contrast. I always like to have expectations of a project or an assignment here, and then over here, maybe the steps to get to this phase or just other brainstorming, collaboration. So that's really nice. And once again, that's found in the monitor, and it will be a dual page display option. Because we're in dual page right now, the option to get back is single page display. So this is really nice, just having that capability of the 2 people side by side. If I wanted to write something, I could have 2 people write at the same time. And yes, they're the same color if you both use a finger, but it's in their designated spaces at this point. Yes?
Can it be the same page?
Yes. So, good question. I'm going to single page this one real quick. So I'm going to go to my monitor, single page to get back to this one, and say this is the page that I need to display twice. On your page sorter, the page that is selected has the blue border and a drop-down menu. I want to then select that drop-down menu And the second option from the top is clone page. Now, I have side by side, which is not going to change, but you have 2 pages right here. The key when you do dual page display is to have the 2 content pages that you want to go into dual page side by side in your presentation. So now when I go to my monitor, dual page display, I just go back a page, and now here are my same pages side by side. Now, say they were out of order. You know, say this guy was here in between them. That's okay. Just as I messed it up, your finger, your mouse, can easily fix it. You can drag and drop all day long to rearrange these pages. So that's very nice, very flexible, and you can modify at any time. Good question. Okay. Now, say I want that page to stay, but I need to continue on. I know there's a couple people that are still working and need this visual assignment for help, but I need to move on. We need to move on as a class. So what I can do is I can launch in the top corner my gear customizable toolbar panel, and that gives me the option to now choose the pin page feature. I can drag this feature up to my toolbar and drop it, and now it creates a shortcut for me. None of these will work until you say done in this customizable toolbar panel. Now, the page, so yes, we're in the customizable toolbar, which is the gear in the top right corner of your notebook. So when I select that, it launches my customized toolbar panel. Good, okay. So what I did was I added that pin page feature to my toolbar right now. Did everybody find it? Okay, perfect. So now, when I'm in dual page display and I want this right side to stay, notice there's a blue border around this particular side. That's because this was the last time I touched in here. If I touch over here, it flips. So I want this side to stay. When I hit pin the page, it pins this page, allowing me, though, to still move forward over there. So even though this is pinned, I can still move forward and change on that far side. So that's a really, really nice, handy feature to have, especially, you know, say I don't have these whiteboards on the side, or say they're filled, you know, but students still need to reference what I'm projecting. This is an easy, quick way to accomplish that. So this is very helpful, that pin the page in the dual screen mode. Any questions or any, yes?
I'm just trying to add it to the toolbar.
Yes.
And it's just not happening. I don't know.
You want to make sure you keep constant pressure and drag and drop it into the toolbar. So I'll show you again. The customizable toolbar gives me different options here. Say I want to add a shortcut for the smart recorder. You just select it, keep constant pressure, and just drag it until it forms a spot right there, and it places it.
Right now it's not even like responding to me.
Oh no.
I'm having the same problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes on our device, it's like that.
It's a little spotty a little bit.
It'll work.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's not making that same line up there.
Okay. But that is the process, how you do it. And then when you're done, you just hit done. Good. When I want to unpin the page, I just simply hit that pin the page option again, and then it takes that pin off. Remember, we're in dual page display right now. So when I go back to my monitor, the option third down is single page display, giving me now my large view. Okay. Now, the next option I want to show you is your table, customizable table. This is really nifty because you can choose how many rows and columns you want to create. Lift your finger, boom, here it is. This is really nice because if you want to do hide and reveal options, you want to do matching, different charts like that, you can easily create this on the fly. And once again, it's in the customizable table option, which is right next to the red X in your toolbar. So you just choose how many rows and columns, you just drag your finger, which is your mouse again, and then lift off, and then it launches it right here. Yes, question? Did you figure it out? Oh, maybe you weren't raising your hand, sorry. Now, when you want to add something, you want to add content to the graph, you can launch a pen and write something, whether it's vocab words, a message, a topic, anything. When you become a mouse again, you can then drag and drop that option into a cell. And notice how what I wrote, the word hi, was larger, but it actually took it into the cell to the size of the cell. It didn't resize the shell and misform it. That's a feature that they fixed, so that's really nice. Now, once I add something to my table, it creates a drop-down menu in that top corner of the cell, allowing me to add a cell shade. That cell shade now covers what I've had in that actual table area. When I tap on it, it reveals what's underneath, but leaves me a dog ear in the top corner, so now I can do a hide and reveal effect. For the older kids, they complained all the time that I gave them boring essay topics. So one day I was like, fine. I put all the essay topics I needed here, all the project assignments here, covered all them with cells. One at a time, the kids came up and they revealed what they were going to write. Abe Lincoln. I'm like, you chose it. You know, at that point, I was like, you're the one that came up, you're the one that chose it. So it's an easy way that you can get students up here involved and just use the interaction of the software in a different way. All of these rows and columns are modifiable, so you can customize on the go, you can resize everything. And remember, wherever you see a drop-down menu, there's always options for editing. So I can go to properties, I can change the cell color if I wanted to, all sorts of things. You can change the paragraph size, the bold, the text. And whenever you tap, I can bring it out, add it back, and always look up here in your toolbar. You have options to change the style of the text, that font, the size, color, thickness, transparency. And you also have the bold, italicize, and I can center this if I wanted to, or move it over to the right, whichever I wanted to. To edit this, say I wanted to format this word, you have to format it when it's outside. So if I wanted to now recognize it into a typed text, I have to do that outside and then edit. And so now if I needed to move this, I have that option to now center it, put it to the right, and that moves everything for me. Any questions on the customizable table? Okay, good.
I have a question.
Yes.
Is it just like in Word where you can add columns if you're doing something, you find you need another column or you need another row?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Good, good. Okay. My next tool up above the customizable toolbar is one of my favorites. This is the table shade. When I select that table shade, the icon literally looks like a pull-down projector screen. When I launch that onto my page, it gives me the illusion it's just a gray appearance. But as I pull from the top, it slowly reveals content at the pace I want to as the instructor underneath. So if you have a question, you can have the answer down below. And so that's really nice, being able to show as you are ready the content. You can reveal from either side and from bottom to top. Good, I see you guys practicing. Also too, if you have a full page of bullets, bullet notes and everything, and you don't want everybody to copy down everything at once, This is another great way to monitor. Okay, copy this section down, put the pencil down, let's talk, let's debate, let's talk, discuss what we just wrote. So this is a really nice way just to monitor what's being shown at what time, and you can control the pace. Very simple. X out in the top corner when you're done. Good. Okay. Talked about the cursor, the pens, the shapes, the line segments. I'm now going to go outside of the notebook and go to the internet and now talk about this little guy in the top corner. This is the Smart Ink. The way I did this, I already opened the internet and I had it minimized. So you would just launch the internet like you normally would, whether it's on your desktop, you double tap on an icon, or you have it minimized as a shortcut down below. And now for your computers, I don't think you should have the Smart Ink on the top because you're not connected to the actual board. Okay, so that's correct. So look up here as I talk, because you will not have access to Smart Ink because you're not physically attached to the Smart Projector. Now, Smart Ink, glowing green, means everything's good, everything's working. This bridges the gap of the tools that are found in the notebook software to outside programs such as the internet, Microsoft Word documents, Excel spreadsheets. So when I go back to my notebook real quick, I don't see Smart Ink here because the default in the notebook is Smart Ink. So Smart Ink will only appear in outside programs such as the internet like we see here. When I tap on the Smart Ink drop-down menu, you have a couple different options to look at. You have your selection option, so to be a mouse, your colors, your pen thickness, you can go into calligraphy, highlighters, eraser sizes, you have a capturing feature, and a clear ink option. So for example, if I launch my pen and I want to take some notes, I want to draw your attention here. This is important. This is important. Do you guys have access to online curriculum? Yes? So you have worksheets, articles, notebooks, tests, anything like that. This is just a computer. The brains of the operation are on this computer attached to this system. So whatever you can pull up here from a computer, you can now have interaction of annotating over top. So it's huge. So if you have your content up here, if you always go to the online for a video or an article, artwork, anything, you can now do it live and annotate over top. And now, say this is something I need to save or reference later. Say students are absent and I quickly want to show them what we did without redoing it all over again. The Smart Ink has a capture feature and it takes a snapshot of everything you see here and automatically puts it here in my notebook. Now I know I'm not on the internet anymore. I'm going to be a mouse again because I see my toolbar up top. I see my side tabs over here, and this is now an image that I can resize with my white handle, bring back center, and make additional notes on top if I wanted to. So I have all those features now captured in my notebook, and I don't have to go back live. I could save this, and you save a notebook file just like any other file. File, save as. You choose where you want to save it. My recommendation is on a USB flash drive. You have probably my documents, somewhere safe on the server. If you save something on the desktop, and at the end of the year, they wipe the computers, then you're most likely going to lose that content. So make sure you have it backed up somewhere safe. But this is great for a reference on teacher-parent conference. If you need to reference something, this is what we covered in class today, this is what they missed, this is what we've done, so on and so forth. And you can keep as many pages in this one file as you want. This works just like PowerPoint in the sense of I'm not saving to Notebook, I'm creating a notebook lesson, a notebook file. So I can create as many notebooks as I want. This is just my one that has, 11 in it right now. I was actually curious one day, I kept adding a new page to the same lesson for about a minute, added over 1,000 pages, still kept going. You have endless whiteboard pages. You can have as many pages as you want. Granted, it's going to be a huge file, but you have all the space in the world that you need. And also, too, if I don't want to add pages all day long, you don't have to. When you scroll down, you have an extend page option. It may be hard to see over this desk here, but you have an extend page option. So I can hit that and then continue to take my notes, keep scrolling to extend page, and then at the end of the day, be a mouse again, scroll up, and then here's everything that was on that same page. So if you rather just keep on the same page all day, just keep extending, that's perfectly fine. If you rather separate everything by different pages, that's a feasible way to do it as well. Any questions on capturing, extending page, adding new pages? I'm going to go back to my internet, Smart Ink in the top right corner. If I don't want to take the time to erase everything, that's okay. My quick clear ink option